Time to pull up a chair. We got another great story here today in the rLounge. Sometimes you're the only one to pat yourself on the back. Not everyone wants to see you succeed. But the beautiful thing is, those people don't matter. Today on rLounge, the show must go on. Parents kicked me out of the house because I wanted to study. 2 years later, wants me to help them. I'm a 17 male. I wish my life were as chill as a regular teenager's. I come from a place of poverty. My parents are both janitors, so I and my elder brother, Alan, 19 male, were put into a community school. We live in a tiny one-bedroom flat in a slum. It is just one room where all four of us, my parents, Alan, and I, crunch to sleep together. There's a small space in the corner of the room my mom uses as a kitchen, and a tiny attached washroom. Our house has no ventilation except for a small chimney at the corner. I'm not trying to gain any sympathy by sharing the details of my house. This is just to give my background. Alan and I grew up bonding as regular siblings. However, as time passed, Alan mocked me because I was studious. I have always stood first in my class, and because of that, I've always been my teacher's favorite. In my early childhood, my parents used to be happy and proud of my success in the class, but as we grew, they took it for granted. They were neither happy nor sad. They gave me a kind of feeling that my grades were not going to take me anywhere. Alan and I studied in the same school, and we were dead opposite to each other. I was calmer, studious, well-mannered, and hardworking, while Alan was one of those rogue boys who always got into trouble with teachers and senior kids. He wasn't good at his studies either. Hence, the teachers always rebuked him, saying he should learn some good manners from his younger brother, me. Alan took those to be offensive and started bullying me. He began mocking me, saying that studies are not going to take us any farther. We are not rich kids who will ever be able to attend college. We should be tough and rogue in order to survive, and all these. He dropped out of school at 8th standard, and since then, he's been doing odd jobs, like washing cars at a garage, mowing someone's lawn, taking care of someone's pet, and so on. After he dropped out of school, he became more aggressive. He started pestering me to drop out and join him for work. When I refused, he did everything to stop me from going to school. He said that the book racks were taking up a lot of space in the house, so I should quit studying so that we could use that space for other stuff. When I refused, he said that he wanted his books so that he could sell them off and make some bucks. I was given his books to study since he was 2 grades higher than me. I fought for it and didn't give him the books. Lastly, he tried to convince our parents to pull me out of the school and send me with him for odd jobs. My parents asked me if I wanted to quit, and I started crying, pleading with them to at least let me complete my school. They agreed to let me finish the school. I wanted to attend college and get a degree, but I was too scared to tell them about my plans, so I just bought time from them until school. Alan was furious that my parents allowed me to complete school because he wanted me to earn money the way he was doing it. He did his best to disturb me and not let me study. Our parents used to come home late from their shift, and until then, we both lived by ourselves. Alan used that opportunity to bully me. He played loud music at the house, called up his rogue friends in the house, and would gang up with them to mock me, abuse me, call me names, and do everything to dissuade me from studying. I tried to report him to our parents, but they were too tired and busy to listen to my cries. They questioned Alan a few times, but he was able to get away with his lies and anger. After a point, my parents gave up on listening to my pleas and asked me to do whatever Alan asked because he was the elder one bringing money into the house. I was disappointed and stopped complaining about Alan. I also distanced myself from them. I made up my mind that I would need to move out of the house if I wanted to study. There was a teacher in my school who was very fond of me because of my diligence. He was also a kind-hearted man. I heard from other kids that he used to help poor kids with their education, so I reached out to him and narrated my story. I told him I wanted to study and would do anything he wanted if he funded my high school and college. He was moved by my dedication. He said that he would pull his contacts to waive off all kinds of admission fees for the high school and could help me with the books, but helping me with the college was beyond his means. I was happy I could complete high school. Meanwhile, I'd figured out a way to attend college. After my graduation day at school, my parents insisted that I quit my studies and join Alan at the garage for the car washing job, but I told them about my plans. I told them that my teacher had agreed to help me complete my high school and I would like to continue my studies. They were disappointed with my decision. I tried to show them all the good things I could do after high school, that I could get decent work rather than being a car washer. But you know, people who live hand to mouth don't dream about the future. They live in the present. Since I was not helping them financially, I was asked to do the household chores. Although that affected my studies, I had to take it up. My teacher did his best to waive my tuition fees, whatever little the community school charged, but at the end of high school, before my final exams, I had to pay a certain amount to sit for the high school exams. My teacher did his best to talk to the authorities to waive that amount, but it was beyond the school's control. This was a week ago when I got to know about it. I was shattered knowing that my parents wouldn't give me a penny, and neither did I have any other source to pay the examination fee. My teacher asked me if I wanted him to talk to my parents, but I knew it wouldn't help. After all the help my teacher had given, I felt too embarrassed and ashamed to ask him to lend me the money, but I had no other options. He said that he was sorry about my situation, but he was also not earning much as a community school teacher. Besides, he was the breadwinner of his house with 3 school-going kids. Hence, it is already very tight for him. However, after a few days, when he saw that I might have to skip my exams without his help, he gave me an offer. He offered to give me the money if I babysat his 2 toddlers for 3 to 4 hours in the evening. I was so happy that I immediately said yes to the proposal before thinking about anything else. I was happy that I would be getting to complete my high school. What I didn't think while saying yes to this teacher was that I have to get permission from my parents because I had to spend 3 to 4 hours working for the teacher. I would have to skip the household chores, and I was pretty sure my parents would not have allowed that. If I brought money to the house from work, they had no problem, but in this case, the money would be covered for my high school exams. I had no other option but to tell my parents about this. As I expected, my parents were utterly disappointed in my decision. They asked me to quit my studies and take up a job so that I could provide the money for the house. Alan broke 7 hells on me. He has become more aggressive and rogue because of the drug consumption. When I tried to tell my parents that I would bring more money into the house after my studies than their drug-addicted son, they shrugged me off, saying that even educated people take drugs and they see office employees smoking up in the deserted elevator where they work. They work at a corporate office as a janitor, so they are surrounded by educated people, but despite taking inspiration from them and trying to raise their kids as educated individuals, they see the dark side that well-educated professionals are also drug addicts and womanizers. The thing is that I have my exams next week and I'm just not able to focus on my studies. It's not because of the time issues, but my mind. It is clogged with all kinds of negativities my family has filled it. There is not a single day when I'm not called selfish and self-centered. I've been sitting in my school library for the last 2 hours, yet I'm unable to make any progress in my studies. Hence why I'm writing this to clear my head. I don't have anyone in my life to share my problems with. I hope this anonymous post helps me feel a little better. I'm so sorry your family makes you doubt yourself and your dreams, OP. Don't listen to them. Honestly, you can do whatever you want to do. The most important thing is that you have the support from others. Sometimes people don't like to see us succeed, and sometimes those people might even be your parents. The reason why they aren't excited for you or don't want you to succeed is A, because they don't have the means to help you, and B, they didn't have the means to do it themselves. Parents should be people who want to see you succeed and want to see you break those generation cycles and be and do better. This breaks my heart. But you're already miles ahead of them, OP. You can do this. There's people out there who have your back. Update 1. I cannot thank this community enough. I wrote my plea just to clear my head, but I feel blessed to have received some immense love and support. As I commented in my last post that I would be making an update after my exams, here I am. Just to let everyone know, a lot of kind people offered to fund my education, and I'm very grateful to all of you. As I have responded to your offers that my intention was not to gather a charity, I'll still stick by it. I feel grateful to get all of your love. My exams were over just a few hours ago. Yes, where all my classmates are planning a wild party to clear their heads, I'm sitting here and making this update because the library will shut in some time, and I need the free internet. I'm really happy that I'm able to complete my high school, thanks to my teacher. Also, during these 3 weeks, something else has happened. My teacher informed me about the full-term scholarship that one of the best colleges in our town was providing, so I'm planning to sit for the qualifying exams next month. The community college of the town also runs a full-term scholarship on a merit basis, so I'm eyeing that too. Right now, I'm trying my best to keep my mind calm. Because my parents are counting the days until my exams are over, I would start working so that I can take the financial burden from their heads. I'm sure today is going to be a difficult evening again when I confront my parents that I will be preparing for the scholarship exams for the next 1 month, and I won't be able to take up any job. I have left my babysitting job at my teacher's house. I know it sounds selfish that I quit that job after he paid for my examination fees, but he was sensible enough to understand that I needed to focus on the exams to secure a seat in any of the colleges. I'm planning to offer to do household chores if the situation gets worse today. I don't know if my parents would agree, but I'm determined to continue my studies to build a better future for myself. I don't want to end up as a janitor or a waiter and let my future family live in poverty. I think your teacher will understand where you're coming from, especially since these exams are so important for your future. Update 2. Apologies for such a late update. I know you guys would have been waiting for this, but trust me, I'm making this update as soon as I could. The last 6 months have been a turmoil for me. That night after my last update, I confronted my parents about my plans to sit for the scholarship exams, and they were devastated. They almost turned physical because they considered it to be a selfish act. They said they birthed 2 sons so that we could take care of them in old age, but I was just thinking about myself and not helping them. I tried my best to make them understand and promised that I would take care of them after college when I got a high-paying job, but they didn't want to wait for 3 long years. Alan came home drunk and spoiled. When he got to know about my decision, he abused me, kicked and punched me. I tried to defend myself, but he was huge and not in his senses. The situation got so worse that Alan asked my parents to kick me out of the house, or else he would leave the house. My parents could not let go of him because he earned money, so they kicked me out in the middle of the night. The night was not difficult because I slept with the homeless on the pavement. I was tense about the day, how and where I would study. The next morning, I went to my teacher to ask for help. I felt really embarrassed about bothering him, but he was my only savior. He told me he could not take me in because he lived in a small apartment, but he had a friend who might need a cleaner for his garage, so I could also get a place to live. His friend gave me the job because of my teacher's strong references, but I didn't get a place to live because the accommodation was already occupied by other full-term employees. After much insistence, the garage owner agreed to let me live in the garage backyard, scattered with auto parts and detergents. I was happy with that. I spent my mornings and afternoons studying in the library and worked in the garage for the evenings until late nights. I took the scholarship exams, and I was over the moon when the results came out. I secured a partial scholarship in the top college in the town and a full-term scholarship in the 3rd best college apart from 2 other community colleges. Besides this, I also graduated from high school with an A+, which boosted my scholarship reward. If my condition were of a normal kid, I would have chosen the number 1 college with a partial scholarship. But in my condition, I'd have to go for the 3rd best, which would give me a full scholarship. It feels nothing less than a dream for me to attend college. When the results came out, I rushed to my teacher, hugged him, and cried like a baby for all his support. I went home to share the good news with them, thinking it might make them proud because I'm the first person in my family to attend college. But I got a rebuke. I'm called selfish for choosing myself over them. My mother asked me to take away all my belongings that she had packed and stuffed in the corner of the kitchen. I took my stuff and left the house. I stayed in the backyard of the garage for a few more days until I got to the college hostel. Although I got a full scholarship, I still had to pay for my accommodation and food, but it was subsidized for children who were in scholarship programs. After shifting into the college dorm, I immediately took up a cashier's job at the nearest cafe. It's been just a week since I got settled, hence I'm making this update to keep you all informed. Thank you again for all the love and support. Honestly, OP, I see this as an absolute blessing. Your parents were stunting your growth. You were meant for bigger and brighter things, and you're doing it. You're doing it all on your own. I'm sorry your success is met with such negativity. It's heartbreaking to hear that your parents don't want to see you succeed, and the reason seems ridiculous. If anything, you getting into school and getting an education might have been better for them down the road when they planned to retire and need a successful son to look after them. But by them pushing you out and treating you the way they have, they really haven't given you a reason to help them at all. Update 3. Hey all, I got a message from many of you that I didn't make any further updates. The thing is, nothing significant has happened in the last 6 months after I joined my college. Yeah, life has become 10 times better. I'm at a much better place mentally and emotionally than I was before, but my family dynamics remained the same. I miss my parents after moving out. I called my dad several times after settling down in college, but he didn't seem interested in talking to me. I used to blame them earlier, but now I don't. I understand their perspective now. A starving person would always choose bread, which he gets right away, rather than a full-course meal a week later. They don't have the time and patience to wait for the good days. They just want to survive today. I'll update you if something develops. Otherwise, this will be the end of my sob story. Wish me luck. Update 4. Hi all. It's been a year since my last update. I'm just about to complete my 2nd year in the next few weeks. I was not intending to make an update, but something happened last week that forced me to write this. So, over the last 2 years, I was able to make good money with my part-time work at the cafe. I also started giving tuition to high school students to clear the scholarship exams. My school proudly displayed my success in securing multiple scholarships, some of them from the best college in town. My juniors at school reached out to me for tuition, and I took it up. I conduct online classes because it is efficient and saves me travel time. Last month, I went on a budget trip with my college friends and posted pictures of the trip on my social media. Of late, I'm dating a girl from my class, and she tags me in all her social media posts whenever we go out for lunch or dinner. I don't mind because I'm pretty serious about her. I have some cousins and childhood friends added to my social media who live in the same neighborhood where I used to live. I'm guessing they showed my new lifestyle to my parents and Alan. Last week, I found my parents looking for me at my college entrance. I was shocked to see them because I thought they had forgotten me. As soon as they saw me, they rushed to hug me and said they were so proud of me attending the college. I was taken aback because 2 years ago, College didn't mean anything to them. I was angry. I still am. Yet they are my parents. I took them to the college cafeteria. That's the best thing about poverty. You're not diplomatic. My parents jumped straight into the topic that they had seen my social media posts, leading a lavish lifestyle. Hence, they were at my college to remind me that I owed them the money. They said that Alan has become a drug addict and often has to spend the night in jail because of his mess up. They didn't hesitate to tell me that they had worked hard to raise me. Hence, they owed me part of my income. I clarified that I was not living a lavish lifestyle, but a very basic one. I also confronted them about their torture and how they dissuaded me when I wanted to study. To my surprise, they were not at all remorseful. They said they thought it was best for me at the time. They asked me for the money, and I gave them whatever I had in my wallet at the time. I didn't even think twice because now I was confident about earning a good lifestyle. They left shortly after getting the money. When I narrated the incident to my girlfriend, she said my parents would try to squeeze money from me, so I should be careful about it. They would misuse me. To be honest, I didn't like her comment, but sometimes I feel she is right. Today, my father called me and said that I need to send them a monthly allowance since I'm earning now and I need to take care of them. I'm confused now. As a son, I understand my responsibility to take care of my parents, but I do not like how they feel entitled to my money. Besides, I don't have a full-time job yet. Honestly, this isn't surprising. Just like you said, these people are just trying to survive, and a hungry animal will do whatever it has to survive, even if it means eating its own kind. Be careful, OP. Update 5. Hello all. I know I kept you all waiting, but I was just too busy in my final graduation years. The projects, internship, and tuition gigs all kept me occupied. I'm finally a college graduate, and I cannot skip thanking this community for all the love. Straight to the topic. My girlfriend was right. My parents tried to suck into my money with their never-ending demands. Soon after I started sending them a monthly allowance, I got to know that my mother left her job. She's still young and active, yet she said she no longer feels like working. I recommended to them to save the monthly allowance I provided and move to a better house. But I guess they like to live in today and don't like to plan for tomorrow. I continued to provide them with a monthly allowance, but despite that, they always reached out to me at odd hours with their emergency demands. Mostly, they said it was for a medical reason, but later, I got to know that the money was used to bail out Alan, who often landed up in jail for his troublesome behavior. I made it clear to them that I wouldn't provide them with any extra money beyond the monthly allowance. I also confronted them that I was already doing a lot for them despite how they treated me during my childhood. The most amazing part was that they were not even sorry about that. All they wanted from me was money. I'm sure if I was not able to make a good life for myself, they would have forgotten that they have a younger son. When I stopped helping them beyond the monthly allowance, they asked me to increase the amount. I made it clear that $1,000 was the maximum I could provide because I didn't have a full-time job yet. They were disappointed but could not risk abusing me because I could cut off all ties. They do try to subtly blackmail me emotionally to help them with more money, but I have put down my foot on any further help. I'm starting my full-time job for next month. Wish me luck. I hope my story serves as an inspiration to everyone who is struggling now. Please feel free to reach out to me for any help and suggestions. Happy to give back to this community. Thanks for all the love again. That's very kind of you to help them, OP, but they don't deserve a dime from you. Try not to let them manipulate you like that. They'll never stop asking for more, and they'll never stop emotionally manipulating you. You may have to draw the line somewhere. What do you think? Is OP making the right choice by helping them? Why or why not? Thank you for following along today. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have something you want to share regarding today's content, we want to hear it. See you next time on rLounge.